and Hispanics and the natives, right, have been going through curses totally in line with the curses in the Bible, particularly Deuteronomy chapter 28 and elsewhere throughout the law, right? These things are written about the Israelites, and when you look around you and you use common sense, it's plain to see that the Israelites of the Bible are the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans, right? It's crystal clear. And the only way you want to argue that is just pretty much through jealousy, you know, and envy. All right, but that was it on that. Let's get that. Where okay,
all right. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. When it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God to observe, to do all these commandments and his statutes, which I command this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. I guess that's all you want to know.
Yeah, so that's it. You know, the Israelites have been overtaken by the curses, right? And if you don't know the curses, I implore you to read Deuteronomy chapter 28, right? From 1 to 68. Slowly, and then if you don't understand something, reach out to the Israelite. They're easy to find, right? All right, so let's go to Amos. Amos chapter 3, from the top, 1 and 2.
Amos chapter 3.
Why does it matter who the Israelites are, or if you're an Israelite? Right?
Amos chapter 3 and verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel.
Right. So it's important to know who the Israelites are, because right now the Most High is speaking against us, against the Israelites in this passage. Go ahead.
That the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities.
That's right. So being an Israelite matters because you're going to get punished for not doing what you're supposed to do. Right? Did the so-called white man's nation get punished for what he's done to the Israelites? Not yet. Right? Because they don't fall in the category of the verse we just read, right? Where the Most High has not only known them, and so therefore he's punishing them for what they do. No, he's only known the Israelites, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives. So that's why we go through such hell for our wrongdoings, right? For our shortcomings. All right? Moving right along, right? Let's get Romans 3 and the top.
Romans chapter 3 and verse 1. What advantage then hath the Jew? Or what profit is there of circumcision?
Right, because getting punished for going off, that don't seem like it's a good thing, but it's still a thing that the Israelites get, right? So we just got to deal with it, you know what I'm saying? But now here's talking about advantages, right? Even though being punished actually is an advantage too. Everybody knows that. If you're a parent, right, or if you have been around kids, they need to be punished sometimes, and then improvement comes from that, okay? Same goes for adults, right? Particularly the Israelites, questionably the most hard-headed people on the planet, right? But it's okay to an extent because the Most High is going to choose them at the end, no matter what, right? According to the Bible. All right. So yeah.
Well, what profit is there of circumcision? Much every way, chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of God.
Right. So there's a lot of benefits to being an Israelite, right? The promises, right? Everything that's mentioned in Romans chapter 9 and verse 4. right? The promises, the giving of the law, the service of the Most High, right? All these things are important and advantages of being an Israelite, okay? And also talking about circumcision. So we're talking about keeping the commandments, because being an Israelite alone is not enough. You need to be part of the circumcision. You need to be keeping the law, statutes, commandments, having the faith, right? Being upright and righteous, letting your light shine so other men can see the good works of the Most High, right? So yeah, there's advantages. That's why it matters to be an Israelite. Right? Everybody doesn't get those advantages, right? Because it's specifically asking, what advantage have the Jew? Not, it doesn't say what advantage have you to believe on Christ, or what advantage do you have you to go to church on Sundays or pay your tithes. You know, there's things that an Israelite has to do, but ultimately you have to be an Israelite, right? That's a prerequisite. Okay. All right, moving right along. Get Psalm 147, 19 and 20.
Psalm 147, verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord.
That's right. Out of the nations, the Most High is known to Israel, right? And he's not dealt so with with anybody else. Okay? Crystal clear. This is why it matters and why it's important to know that you're an Israelite, and then to be doing what an Israelite is supposed to do. Okay, well, wait a minute. Doing what an Israelite is supposed to do, we haven't gone over that yet. All right, let's get that now. Deuteronomy chapter 10, 12, 13, and then skip down to 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 12. And now, Israel, what does the Lord thy God require of thee?
Right. So now you found out and you believe and understand that you're an Israelite. Now what? Right? Good.
And now, Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes which I command thee this day for thy good.
That's right. You're supposed to be keeping the commandments, and it's for your benefit, for your good, right? It's going to behoove you, right, to do the things that are written in the Bible if you're an Israelite, particularly. Generally speaking, everybody should be doing it because it's for your good. Everybody's going to get positive outcomes through keeping the commandments. But there's a certain group of people that's going to be punished for not keeping them, and those are the Israelites. Right? You get 15?
No, we have Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 15. Only the Lord had a delight in thy fathers to love them, and he chose their seed after them, even you above all people, as it is this day.
Right. So it's just showing you the Most High loves Israel, and he hasn't dealt so with the other nations, right? Just adding on to that. So this is why it matters to know who are the Israelites, to understand if you're an Israelite. And then, if you understand that you're an Israelite, what should you be doing, right? You can't just continue on the way you've been operating, now knowing you're an Israelite, right? Because you headed for destruction at that point. So let's look at the future of the Israelites, right? Let's look at some of the things that some of the prophecies, some of the things that the Israelites have in store as time goes on. And of course, now everything's not great, right? Because this is just the reality of life and living. Everything's not great and happy and fun. So when we're talking about the future of the Israelites, we're going to look at the future of practicing Israelites that are keeping the commandments and reverencing the Most High's program. And then we're also going to look at what's going to come for the future of Israelites that disregard, ignore, and transgress the Most High's laws, statutes, commandments, and program, right? So let's just start Isaiah 14, 1 through 3. It's in no particular order. Isaiah 14, And 1 through 3.
Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1.
This is arguably, to me, one of the most heavy and just powerful prophecies that just, talking about head lobs for Christianity. They cannot stand against this. And this is a perfect example of why Christianity doesn't want to deal with the Old Testament, right? They too much weaving and bobbing they got to go to avoid scriptures, reading scriptures like this. It's too much work keeping the people blind. So they just say, won't even go into those books. All right? But let's get some of this good stuff, right?
Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them.
Right? So we got the Most High choosing Israel after it's all said and done, right? But also, the strangers shall be joined with them, right? So, listen up, Christianity, right? Your pastor's not telling you what's going to, befall you in the latter days. But here it's saying that you're going to be with the Israelites, right? Go ahead.
And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Right. So they're going to be with us, but they're going to be looking for our approval and our permissions, and they're going to be, subservient to us, and they're going to be lower, under us. Right? They're going to be cleaving for us. They're going to be looking for handouts for us, looking for approval from us. Right? Go ahead.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
Right. We're going to take these other nations, these strangers, right, and we're going to bring them to the place that the Most High set us in. Go ahead.
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
Right. We are going to have possession, control, rulership, ownership over these strangers, these other nations, these non-Israelites. Go ahead.
And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
Right. These Israelites are going to take the people that did have them in captivity, their oppressors, their former oppressors, they're going to take, and now they're going to be, the oppressed is going to become the oppressor, right? If you will. And those who were ruled over, are now going to become the rulers, right? As the meek shall inherit the earth, right? The last shall be first, and the first shall be last, right? It's all talking about the Israelites coming back into their righteous place of rulership over the other nations in righteousness under Yahweh Shai, under the Most High, right? Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve.
Right. We're going to have a rest from your 9 to 5, right? With most brothers are working more than 9 to 5.
Oh, yeah.
9 to 5 don't cut it anymore, right? Because of so-called white man's greed and just the way he destroyed the earth, which being affected by it, we only have to blame ourselves, right? For not keeping the Most High's commandments. But we still have an opportunity to repent, come back and start doing the things that will be approved in the sight of the Most High. All right? Where we at?
I got a piece up for you.
Okay, come on.
Yeah, back up. What brother just read. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 10 through 12. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually, they should not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yeah, those nations shall be utterly wasted.
And that's saying the nations that shall not serve thee. And that's talking about the nations that don't want to serve the Israelites. Right? The Israelites is the thee there. It's not talking about the Most High. Obviously, you're worshiping the Most High through the Israelites, but they're going to have to serve us. Right? Beautiful. So that's even more detail on the Isaiah 14.
Now, if the Gentiles, the natural Gentiles, the white man, Africans, and so on, if they get salvation too, so how are they going to be utterly wasted if they don't follow our commandment? They have everlasting salvation.
Good point.
No, how that's possible? If they get everlasting salvation like we do, and they don't obey us, how would it be utterly wasted? That means they don't get salvation.
Exactly.
We get salvation.
That's right. The salvation is not for them. They just happen to be there
Right.
while we're getting salvation.
Exactly.
Right? Just like we're here in their kingdom. See? But we're not sharing in their rulership here. No. And they're not going to be sharing in our rulership. So.
And them build our walls outside of salvation. That's hard work. That's hard labor.
Exactly. It's not a privilege. You know, Christians will literally try to make it seem like, oh, it's going to be a privilege to build up the kingdom.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a privilege, all right? I'm glad. Keep that same energy when the time comes, right? You hear that whining and crying. But, yeah, so as far as the future of the Israelites, this is what this future in Isaiah 14 and also in Isaiah 60 that we just brought out, these are the favorable outcomes that the Israelites should be looking for, right? And in order to get these things, you got to hold up your end of the bargain, keeping the law, statutes, commandments, and teaching His word, right? Teaching others to do so. All right, so now let's see for those who are on the other end of the spectrum, what they have in store for them, right? And we're still talking about the Israelites, you know? Pretty much, I mean, everything we're addressing here is focused on the Israelites, right? So let's get that, Amos 9 and 10.
Amos chapter 9 and verse 10. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us.
That's right. So all the Israelites that's not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments and having the faith, they're going to be destroyed, right? Because they're taking everything too light, right? They're thinking, oh, there's nothing going to happen, you know, whatever the case may be. No. These words are serious, real. The Bible is not a joke, and you shouldn't be playing with it. You know, can't be lukewarm, right? It's like in Godal's lesson we're talking about, you know, the new